Members, one of our most basic rights as Floridians and Americans is the right to be represented by counsel. As the courts have pointed out, without the assistance of competent counsel, an injured worker would be as helpless as a turtle on its back. To illustrate this point, I'd like to share with you the case of Legna Ramos. Ms. Ramos is a 31-year-old mother of 3 who resides in my hometown of Orlando. 5 years ago, she was working in a factory when a supervisor closed a machine on her hands, causing her the loss of all her fingers and the normal use of her hands. The nature of her injuries make it impossible for her to do the normal personal things for herself that you and I take for granted. Things like combing her hair, brushing her teeth, or tying a ribbon in her daughter's hair. Given the severe nature of Ms. Ramos' injuries, one would expect the insurance carrier to promptly provide the medical care and benefits needed by Ms. Ramos. The reality is that for 5 long years, she has had to fight to obtain care. Though she's unable to perform many of the most intimate of personal functions, incredibly, the insurance carrier denied her request for attendant care for 17 months. She was fortunate to have an attorney who, like the attorney in the Murray case, was willing to help her even though it was not profitable to do so from a sound business point of view. Ms. Ramos is here with us today in the East Gallery, and I, for one, want to congratulate her for her courage and determination. Ms. Ramos, will you please stand and be recognized? The bill today, I know we've been lobbied on both sides. We've all been lobbied as being pro-business or anti-business, pro-trial lawyer or anti-trial lawyer. But we were sent up here to only be one thing, and that was pro-Floridian. These costs are not going to go away. When somebody gets injured at work, these costs just don't disappear, whether we make the insurance company pay for them or not. All this bill is doing, and all we're doing here today, is taking away any incentive for the insurance company to settle the claim. We're denying the ability for reasonable attorney's fees from one side. The defense attorney and the employer and the insurance company have no incentive whatsoever to settle these claims. We are going to see cases drag on and drag on. In the case of Ms. Ramos, right before, after 17 months, they suddenly decided that care was needed. The defense attorneys made a bundle. They're billing by the hour after hour after hour after hour of denying that claim. They're billing. And this bill does nothing to stop that, by the way. It does nothing to disincentivize that. In fact, it creates the perverse incentive to make sure that we drag these cases out for as long as possible, while workers don't get the care that they need. And again, these costs don't go away. When we pass this bill, when people aren't able to get representation and get coverage under the workers' comp, they're going to go to Medicaid. When we pass this bill, we're going to increase the Medicaid costs of this state. We've seen Medicaid costs go up and up and up in this state for years. We're going to continue to see that when we pass this bill. These medical costs just don't go away. And instead, we're just shifting the cost. We're shifting the cost. Now, people go, how much can that possibly be? Well, the St. Pete Times ran a story 4 years ago about how the 11 largest minimum wage employers managed to shift $1 billion of Medicaid costs every year over to the state. Healthy employees, by the way. Healthy employees. And they shifted that $1 billion of costs onto the state in Medicaid costs. I promise you that when this bill goes into effect and injured workers can't get the representation they need to go before the workers' comp, to get the insurance companies to pay, those costs are just going to be shifted over to the taxpayers. Members, this bill is a tax increase on Floridians. Let's be not pro-business, anti-business, pro-trial lawyer, anti-trial lawyer. Let's just be pro-Floridian. Let's care about the people that actually sent us up here to represent them and say that we're going to make sure that you get medical care as quickly and as reasonably as possible without having to be torn into the Medicaid system because you're so broke and that's all that you can go to now. Please, let's just be pro-Floridian and let's just vote this bill down. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Urbina, do you have a recognition? Representative Urbina.